2011, I mentioned that I started working with Gemassist. And Gemassist is a trademark name. And then my logo is a trademark. And I can get into that some other time. But how it came about, which I explained in another blog, was a young man was just telling me how his father was. I was waiting on my time to see the doctors, and how his father had been smart and took care of his college already. Well, also there was other people in groups that I had. There was even some Vietnam veterans that was in there that was still learning how to meditate and breathe. There was people in wheelchairs. There was people with Parkinson's. There was people with anxiety. There were people with arms that were that they couldn't move very well, and it was from their strokes. There was a variety that was in our meditational group, and it was just wonderful because I got to learn about others besides just brain injury. Or some of these people had brain injuries a long time ago and stuff. So anyway, I went home because at that time I was able to have very good insurance. And well, at that time I was able, even though I was sick really bad, and I still have this with my brain, is that I was real emotional about how people needed help. So I got with my nephew, and I got with a friend, an old friend from elementary, and we put together a name, and it ended up being Gemassist. And it says, "You are the gym. We are here to assist." Okay, there's the logo, and there's Gemassist. Then here is a USB. And I had this thought in my mind that every time I went to the doctor, I was having to fill out the same paperwork. Every time I went to the doctor, I didn't have my CT's history and stuff like that. So with this friend, I had this vision of making this USB. And so I did. And the USB, and I talked to this lady who was in my neighborhood. Her name was Vicki Gordon, and she did a lot of marketing and stuff like that. And so what I came up with, and this is what it was, and it was the first one. It was Gemassist USB, and you could just plug that into a computer device in the living room or the television, and it would just pop up, and it would have your data. And if they wanted to see any kind of CTs or information or anything, it was there. And so I had been to so many doctors and to the ER and various places by that time that I needed something. And so with this product, I used to go to shows and sell it. And I was helped on the with some of it, and I used to it was becoming successful. And just like some little small men in this world, and you live and learn, and you just really Can't help it. But the company, which is Med Life, I think, you get it, you see it right there at the pharmacy of every pharmacy, and it has medical stuff that you can get a medical bracelet, and it has the your name and everything on it. Well, guess what? They took my idea, and I had jewelry to attach, because what I found is that with their product at that time, it was just for the wrist, and it was just a couple of designs, and then they had one that was hanging on your neck, and doctors just were not looking there. They were always looking at my chest. So I designed, and my friend designed, several pieces of jewelry that we would attach the USB. And so with this, I also did bracelets. We had it in the store at the Shepherd Center. And Miss Shepherd helped me get it in there. And at that time, my website was Gemassist.net, .org. And so, anyway, and then I also had some help with some people. And you can see that young lady here with the blue glasses, and it had some information about her. Well, this is me back in my younger days when this happened, and everything. And I had to wear the blue glasses, and believe you me, like I said, I cried over it, and I did for quite a while, because I felt so different from other people. But I have a great poem about that is much better. And this is my logo, and I put it on the USB. And then I got approved by the Better Business Bureau and other information here. And then what's so important at that, and I'm quite sure it hasn't changed much, but the CDC had a comparison of incidents, and it has traumatic brain injury is up to 1,500,000. Breast cancer was 176. AIDS was 43,000, and spinal cord injuries 11,000, and then MS was 10,000. This is a comparison, and this was each year over 2.4 million Americans sustain traumatic or acquired brain injuries. And so I wanted to educate people about it, and I made, this was fashionable at that time. It was at the beginning. You see them today for various things. And so I had these made that had my logo and Gemassist brain and stuff. And then as I moved along, I told you I did all that jewelry. Some I gave away free at the hospitals to the employees. And then I got out there and was capable with help with assistant, and capable with some other people that I had to hire. And I could sell my product because I knew my product. But I had to have people to do the PowerPoint, and I had to have people to collect the money because I couldn't do it. And I just talked about my brain injury, and I talked about other neural situations. And my first write-up was in this piece of paper. It was community paper, and it was Hans Appen paper, which I think they still have it. And there was a young lady that worked for me, and she's in this picture. I hope she doesn't mind me showing it. But it has in here, how can I help others and help me so this doesn't happen to other people? And I'm talking about my brain injury. And then with her experience traveling to doctors, she quickly discovered the way medical information is transferred between practices can be tricky. Handwriting cannot be read and pages aren't sent properly and files are misplaced. So that's how I got this young lady to help me to develop this. And during this, the young man realized that I was beginning to get exhausted, doing a little and speaking more than a few minutes at a time. I think I talked about that earlier with the lady. At a time, I was beginning to get exhausted. So Mary Ann had to take over with the brain taxing itself as he was asking me questions to make this article. And as you can tell, the name of it, the top of it was Resident, which I was in that community, turns affliction into a warning. And then Prophet. Well, the Prophet went to hospitals and stuff. So then I was going to Shepherd, as I told you, and also I finally had gotten enough bracelets made, and we got this idea that, we need to try to put my pen, and I have a pen that you can buy. It's on the website, but I need a big picture. And it was for Gemassist, and I sold some at the drugstore, sold quite a bit. And also we made bracelets. And actually, the young lady made a lot of them. She would do them at home, and she was very good at it. And so then I want to show you how Shepherd was working at that time with military personnel. And I also want to show you that they also were working with firemen, first responders, and also policemen. I didn't get a picture of a policeman on a Shepherd magazine. But what I was talking to Mrs. Shepherd about, she was the on the board, and I would just go right in there and talk to her. Her name was Elena Shepherd, because it was hard to talk to the man who was over the foundation at that time. He wasn't real, because I was small. He wasn't real, oh, how wonderful. But I'm just showing you that Shepherd did send a letter, and they would give me a thank you for the money that I sent. And so as time grew on, and this is Elena, she had her name here, and I won't go into their story because you can always go into Shepherd Spinal Institute and Shepherd Center, and be able to find out about their story and how it came about. But I was talking to her, and I was talking very intensely to her. I says, you've made one or two articles about people's success stories. I says, why don't y'all do more? So she connected me up with the media woman there. And so they decided they were going to do a test pilot of some stories. And here I am, younger, with my story, how it happened. And I reflect myself on Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Because, I mean, Humpty Dumpty could crack and all that stuff. I felt like my whole life cracked and everything. And so they, from now on, I see their magazines. I still get them. And they even have more in-depth stories and interesting stories, just like Fraser has developed theirs and other people have developed theirs. I have several people who want to write my story right now, but I've got to put it together more. Now, as I was going out and selling my products at various places with these young ladies, but I was younger then, and it was, they helped me with all of this stuff. Like I said, I could sell, but I could not do money. I could not bag also the product that they bought. And then I also could not keep the video going, because we had a video that was going, which we called a slide at that time, but it was continuously going on printer that we had, and we had to take all sorts of stuff compared to today. But anyway, here's a group that is called Above the Line. These young ladies met me, and so they started advertising Gemassist in their magazine. Oh, they were so wonderful. They even wrote a story about the brain, and that made me feel really good. And organizations that I was member with and doctors that I knew at that time was Healthcare Business Alliance, Dana organization, that was a Dana Alliance, a Georgia affiliate, Better Business Bureau, Dr. Maria Silver at Emory Neurology, Daryl Kalin, who was at Shepherd, Roswell Eye Clinic, was the blue glasses doctor, and Dr. Sherry Henry, who does variety of psychology, but she helped also in the psychology factor of me adjusting to this. And then donations during that time were Shepherd Center, Fox Foundation, honor of Gabby Gifford, which a lot of people don't know who she is, but she got shot. Honor of Peyton Manning. It was a special gift with something that he had done. I had did honor of veterans, American Legion, Renal Kidney Foundation, Autism, MS, Epilepsy, and Migraine Foundation, and Wounded Warriors. People who had the USB, and I'm not going to have them listed because it was more people than that, but these were the major people that I sent the USB, and I made a special type of necklace with several of them so they could wear the USB, and it was part of that. Some of them who did not have the money, I sent them free. Now, another statistics that came up later is disability and need and assistance. Now, age frame was 15, 24, 44, and look how the graph kept going. And this is 45 to 54, and 54 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, And then 70 to 79 and 80 and older. And the purple here is talking about any disability that needed help and financial. The lower purple is for severe disabilities that needed financial. And let me get a little bit closer. And then the lighter was just needs assistance. That would mean maybe you need driving, a little bit of money for driving assistance. Maybe you needed somebody to come into your house. So I did that. And the company, now that I see it, is on this list. I even listed them. It was American Metal ID that took my ID, and I couldn't afford and didn't know how, in my brain entry, how to actually sue them or do anything about them. And if you go and look at it, they've got jewelry, they've got bracelets, they got all sorts of stuff that Deborah Marie had. Now, you're saying, why didn't other people around you sue them? Because they're a big corporation, and I had name, and I had the USB, and I had all this information. I don't know. They didn't want to take the time. I have no clue. Doesn't matter. It's gone, it's gone. And then this, again, was people that wrote stories about me, and I will talk about that in just a minute more. And then the Roswell Eye Clinic, they verified me, plus that I had other people, other doctors to verify me. Then the next thing was, I don't know how they heard about me, but our USA, since everything pretty much was, my designs and stuff were made in the USA, I could not get that quantity of USBs at that time in our country. So I had to go outside the country, but and then I had the logo put on there, and then after that, I did my thing when they arrived and everything. And then also, this is the article that these people wrote about me. And then when I moved to Louisville, and I have a few more articles scattered out there. Then I moved here, and there's a magazine that was called Narco. And then they put my foundation and some information here. I'm not real crazy about that picture, but anyway, they wrote a story about me. It needs to be updated because of I've gone into so much more areas beyond what that magazine was, and that's when I first moved here and everything. And so that is some of the history. So that takes me from 2011, just a little piece, all the way up to today. I have repose, and I have artwork that's out there that you'll see on my website that I says sold. And these people have the tag of my tag that I have on the jewelry now. And then the other thing is that they, I used to get phone calls, and I used to have people contact me about, help me. And so I had a list my own private list of people in Alpharetta, that doctors that I made and everything that would that I would give out and help them. Eye doctors, Thomas Eye Doctor, which is on Highway 9 in Roswell, Georgia, is very good. And unfortunately, the doctor that I had has retired. But she still has they still have the facility, Roswell Eye Clinic, but they don't do the coloring of the glasses anymore. It's been a spinoff. Now Thomas does. And now that's just in Georgia. There are other places, and maybe Shepherd took it over. I have no idea from that point. Now I'm going to get back to my calls. Okay, you can see this pendant again. There's the heart shape. Okay, you can turn it around and you see the ace. And like I said, these sections here, you can add various items. This is a trademark piece. I was told by several jewelers, they had never seen anything like that you could turn upside down and make it versatile, and you could decide yourself on what you want to do. That's the reason why I decided to proceed with this. My trademark lawyer, who was very in jewelry, two of them, said that they can't guarantee me, of course, I'm going to make mega bucks off of this, but they had never seen it before in their history of work. And I think between the two of them, they had about 50 years in history. A couple of jewelers that I talked to had about 40 years in the jewelry world. Had never seen this type of versatile necklace. So yes, got that, decided to go ahead and do that. And so it is my unique design. Okay, what I want to do with it if you go on Facebook, and my last reel, and it was longer, and I'm going to try to make this shorter now that I've told you some history, is that, like I said, I have come across some people who are unfortunately had killed themselves, and they're in the military. I have come across some other first responders who were very unstable from some of the things that happened to them. And they're in the buddy system too, taking care of each other. And when they see their buddy die, it's a heartbreaker. And then also police officers. So I'm starting with a long time ago when I had started Gemassist LLC. I met a gentleman who's a colonel, and he remembered me. And so they looked through their database and they found me. And so they're looking at us talking. I'm also looking at some other companies to see if they will put me in their line of wares that is in the military. And on the back, one and both of them, they can put their seal. So it can be a seal that would go with them and everything. Now, you're going to say, Deborah, you're giving everybody in the world an idea here. Well, this time I'm older. If somebody takes my idea and takes it over, I will fight you. I will fight you, because this is my idea, and my idea is to help these people. And yes, we've got suicide issues. Yes, we have people talk about it, people donate, but I've got a symbol and a piece that I want y'all to purchase. And the more I've already researched it, and mass production, I can get that product down, and I'm very happy about it. So what I want you to do is go on my website and help me. Help me to get money into the Cleveland Clinic. That's for hospitals. I will also be donating to various other hospitals. Help me get money into in the military, and to get this ball rolling, and to see that I'm on this mission to help. I did not like, I don't want to say I didn't like, it broke my heart, the people who had passed. It broke my heart, and the people I know that has tragically had been at Fort Drum, been at other reserve places, been out in various fields of war, Iraq. And one thing I got to tell you, you got those light eyes and seeing. So it can come back to you later, all of a sudden. And a young man asked me, he says, I have migraines. Why can't somebody help me? And I says, you need a specialist. And this is what I'm saying. You need a specialist. And I'm hoping to have also, I'm starting with this group because this group is in need. Yes, of course, I give to hospitals and stuff, so that helps civilians. I've been doing that since 2011, and some of that money also went to military and some of the hospitals. And it went for brain research, and then it went for doctors who would come and residents, but they couldn't afford the doctor bag, and so instead I would just go ahead out of my money and donate doctor bags. I also, when they graduate, there's this special thing that they do here in Louisville for U of L and the residents, and it's called Top Golf, and there's a celebration and everything the day of graduation or the day before graduation, and I help them, and I'm always the top giver, so they have enough seats and enough food to help people. And there are other people who participate in that. But I want to see these residents get on and get on with their life and be able to be good doctors. And most of them I have met because I have such a rare neural problem that I have a lot of residents that come in and talk to me. Even when I go to the Cleveland Clinic, I get, my primary care doctor, I get residents that come in or new doctors that want to know about what happened to me or heard, and they want to have some explanations. They want to see it. They want to see the tremendous amount of cost of my medicines and shots and everything that I have to do to be healthy, happy, and enjoy my life. As I get older, yes, it's more difficult, but you've got to plan for these kind of things in life, and one day I'll tell you how I planned. So I hope you haven't been bored with this. I just wanted to give you some history. I want y'all to know, when you look at my new website that I just didn't start yesterday, that's why, on Instagram and various locations, you'll find Deborah Marie 211, because that was the beginning of all of my jury, my brain plasticity started in January 10th, 2010. And I will remember that day forever. But it wasn't called that then. It wasn't in vogue. Now, at this point in time, I think I have about 4 people who want my story in magazines. I have about maybe 5. I have about several podcasts that are waiting on me with my podcast. I'm hoping to find some people who will collaborate with me, and that helps us all. And then I have also a tremendous respect for people who work with brain and spinal patients and how they can get them in a better quality of life. Right now, I hope Dr. Castillo from Fraser PMR for Spinal will be on my podcast, this podcast that you're going to see here, because he's very much involved with the spinal and to explain some new information. So, anyway, I have, when you're at my podcast, you're going to see some doctors that know I'm very dedicated, and they will be coming up this year, and they will be on there. I will be dabbling in other fields, not just the brain. I'm going to be dabbling in some music areas. I just put out, it'll be coming out this week, scams. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in my podcast. I'm going to talk about also in my podcast about women, just women, issues that can happen to young girls and how they can do things to help them. And also, I will reflect upon some people that I've learned this from, and I will list that, but I will also list some services. And I am going to have a young girl on here with the podcast, and she's going to talk about today compared to when I was a young girl. A world of difference. I also will be talking about how far we've come, and you have to really realize it. And I'm going to pick out a few stories. And then the last thing will be, I have a book coming out. My poor editor keeps saying, Deborah, can you finish it? Well, this has been a lot for me to be doing. But I promise I will have it finished this month. And it will be out for publication. It will be out for Christmas, and you're going to like it. It will be from 1982 until now. And hey, I'm throwing my life out there like I am right now. I don't care. I want people to learn something, not learn anything. I'll dabble into things that you just want to turn it off. Fine, go ahead. Doesn't matter to me. All I want to say is life is short. Life is an adventure. It's not difficult and it's not hard, young people. Consider you are on an adventure. You are on a road of this adventure, and that road can take you this way, that way, up and down, but you're going to have a great life. You had no idea. The USA is one of the most magnificent countries to be in, and I am a rags to middle class person. Rags to middle class person. And thank you very much. And you'll learn a little bit more about that if you hadn't seen one of my podcasts. It tells you about that, several. And God bless you. And what does Deborah say? Deborah loves you because it's really true. I care about the public. I care about our society, our growth. I care about how we can enjoy each other and love each other. Thank you.